Whales are usually described as being part of the Cetacea class, including dolphins and porpoises. Whales are the only other species in this class. They evolved from land-dwelling mammals. They have modified forelimbs that act as flippers. They have a tail with horizontal flukes. They are hairless and are insulated by a thick layer of blubber. They have an air hole, cannot breathe underwater, and are very large compared to all aquatic species. The whale is part of the Animalia kingdom. The whale is Chordata plium and is part of the Mammalia. There are several types of whales that have all adopted mutations based on their environments. Blue whale, giant structure, allows them to gather and filter krill, a common resource in the Antarctic waters. The right whale, slow-moving, thicker sheets of blubber, typically live in cold environments. The sei whale are much smaller and feed on cephalopods. Smaller structure allows them to swim faster and live in warmer waters. Humpback travel in packs, use the ability to dive in order to disorient schools of fish, to manipulate the bubble netting technique, and to signal other whales. Mink are the smallest whale and are also the fastest, live in warm waters. Fin are the fastest of large whales, need this versatility because they migrate to warmer waters in the winter and near the poles in the summer. Sperm, these whales have teeth needed because they typically eat squid instead of or just krill. Killer also have teeth but are much. A once vast ocean was converted into a desert sands sometime in the past that forced animals to adopt a new mutation that allowed them to breathe and walk on land. After this evolution occurred, a specific species of mammals became under attack by the Ambulicatus, an ambush hunter. These mammals lived in swampy environments where the majority of their food and resources came from water. After several mutations and adaptation, these mammals avoided their primary predator and slowly shifted to the more reliable water-based environment. Their necks compressed and stiffened so they could push more efficiently through water. Their hind legs thickened into piston-like mechanism. Their toes grew webbings, their nostrils slid back, and their eyes moved to the sides of their head so they can dive deeper. Natural selection was clearly involved in this process, as species that did not learn to base their environment in water became extinct through the anabolic predator, alligator-like creature, and through their inability to compete against the whale for water-based nutrients. Fossils show the progression of a nostril from the front of the skull to the back of the skull. This process occurs from the Archaeopteryx to the Prosigilodon to the whale. The first stage was 47 Maya, the second stage was 36 Maya. This proves natural selection. As mammals moved back into water, it was much more efficient for the animals to have their access to air on the back of their bodies so they could access water with ease. There is molecular evidence that whales are more closely related to deer and cattle. The mitochondrial genome, a portion of DNA, shows that the similarities between hippopotamuses, whales, and their ancestors Sagittarius and Arditarius DNA types have concurred that modern whales are closely related to even-toed hoofed animals, despite the huge changes in anatomy. Despite these major differences in anatomy, the molecular similarities between the different types of whales and as whales originally evolved back into water in order to adjust to their environment, they gradually shifted to different parts of the world. This population isolation allowed for specific genetic mutations to develop in order to adjust to the different climates and predators. Mutation is key to speciation, because without it, reproductive isolation would not be established and no barriers between species would be generated. Whale speciation was greatly affected by natural selection, as only certain whales were able to survive with specific diets and predators. Once these different species of whales developed, they were unable to reproduce, further establishing lines between the different species of whale.